Fyodor Dostoevsky was a renowned Russian novelist, best known for his novel Crime and Punishment, published in 1866. The novel is a psychological and philosophical masterpiece. It tells the story of Raskolnikov, a destitute ex-student in St. Petersburg, who commits a gruesome murder and then grapples with the moral and psychological consequences. Dostoevsky's work in Crime and Punishment delves deeply into themes of morality, guilt, and redemption. The novel explores the inner workings of the human mind, particularly the inner turmoil and moral conflict experienced by the protagonist. Dostoevsky's writing is characterized by its exploration of existential and philosophical questions, and his characters often confront the complexities of human nature. Crime and Punishment is considered a classic of Russian literature and a significant work in world literature. It remains a thought-provoking and influential novel, known for its vivid characters and exploration of ethical dilemmas. Crime and Punishment was written by Fyodor Dostoevsky and published in 1866, a time of significant historical and social change in Russia. Here are some key historical background points. Social and political climate. The mid-19th century was a period of social and political upheaval in Russia. The country was transitioning from a feudal society to a more industrialized and modern one. There were significant debates about the role of the individual in society and the morality of the time, serfdom. During this period, Russia still had a system of serfdom where peasants were bound to the land and their owners. This system began to be questioned and was eventually abolished in 1861. Just a few years before the novel's publication. Intellectual movements. Dostoevsky was writing during a time when intellectual and philosophical movements were gaining momentum in Russia. These included Western European ideas like existentialism, nihilism, and utilitarianism, which are explored in the novel through the character of Raskolnikov. Crime and Punishment. The novel is set in St. Petersburg, a rapidly growing and modernizing city, which plays a significant role in the story. Dostoevsky uses the urban environment to reflect the psychological and moral struggles of his characters. Religion and morality. Dostoevsky was deeply influenced by his Christian faith, and this is evident in Crime and Punishment. The novel explores questions of morality, redemption, and the nature of sin in a society that was undergoing significant changes in its religious and moral landscape. Guilt and redemption. The theme of guilt and the quest for redemption is central. Raskolnikov's murder of the old pawnbroker haunts him, and much of the novel revolves around his internal struggle to find redemption and make amends for his crime. This theme highlights the idea that moral and psychological punishment can be more agonizing than legal consequences. Psychological duality. Dostoevsky delves deeply into the duality of human nature through the character of Raskolnikov. He represents the conflict between his rational, utilitarian ideas and his innate sense of morality. This theme explores the complexities of the human psyche and the struggle between good and evil within an individual, poverty and social injustice. The novel sheds light on the harsh living conditions and poverty in 19th century Russia. Characters like Sonia and Marmeladov exemplify the struggles of the impoverished. Dostoevsky criticizes the social injustices of the time and the lack of empathy for the poor. Existentialism and nihilism. The novel grapples with existentialist and nihilist ideas. Raskolnikov's rationalizations for the murder reflect a utilitarian, nihilistic philosophy, which was a prominent intellectual movement of the time. The novel challenges these philosophies and explores their moral implications. Family and relationships. The novel explores complex family dynamics, particularly in the relationships between Raskolnikov and his family, including his sister Dunya and his mother Pulcheria. It delves into the themes of sacrifice, responsibility, and the impact of familial ties on individual choices. Religion and morality. Dostoevsky's Christian beliefs are evident in the novel. Characters like Sonia represent the redemptive power of faith and forgiveness. The theme of religion intertwines with morality and the search for a higher purpose. Rodion Romanovich Raskolnikov, the novel's protagonist. Raskolnikov is a complex and tormented character. He's an impoverished former student who commits a murder. In an attempt to prove his extraordinary abilities, Raskolnikov's internal struggle with guilt, moral dilemmas, and his quest for redemption form the core of the story. His character reflects the psychological duality of human nature. Sonya Marmeladov. Sonya is a young woman who turns to prostitution to support her family. She is a deeply religious character who provides moral and emotional support to Raskolnikov. Her character represents purity and self-sacrifice, offering a stark contrast to the novel's darker elements. Avdotya Romanovna Raskolnikov Dunya, Raskolnikov's sister. Dunya is a strong-willed and principled character. She is willing to make personal sacrifices for the well-being of her family. Dunya's character highlights themes of familial duty and the strength of women in the face of adversity. Pulcheria Alexandrovna Raskolnikov, Raskolnikov's mother. Pulcheria is a devoted and somewhat naive character. She represents maternal love and concern for her children's well-being. Her character embodies the virtue of motherly devotion. Arkady Ivanovich Svidrigailov. Svidrigailov is a wealthy and morally ambiguous character. He is attracted to Raskolnikov's sister Dunya and is involved in several subplots of the novel. His character symbolizes the darker, more depraved aspects of human nature. Porfiry Petrovich, as the head of the murder investigation. Porfiry is a shrewd and perceptive character. He engages in intellectual and psychological cat-and-mouse games with Raskolnikov. His character represents the law and justice in the novel. Marmeladov. Marmeladov is a tragic character who is deeply flawed, but sympathetic. He is a government clerk with a drinking problem and a chaotic family life. His character illustrates the consequences of social injustice and poverty. Luzhin. Pyotr Petrovich Luzhin is Dunya's suitor, a self-absorbed and controlling character who represents the theme of male entitlement and social pretense. The axe and the murder weapon. An axe is a potent symbol of violence and moral transgression. It represents Raskolnikov's descent into darkness and his attempt to test his theory of the extraordinary man through a heinous act. The yellow walls and the apartment. The shabby, yellow-walled apartment where Raskolnikov lives is a symbol of his mental and emotional state. Its squalor reflects his inner turmoil, and his decision to leave the apartment behind signifies his desire for transformation and rebirth. Sonya's cross. Sonya's cross necklace is a symbol of her unwavering faith and moral purity. It serves as a reminder of the redemptive power of religion and the possibility of forgiveness. Heat and oppression. Throughout the novel, the stifling summer heat in St. Petersburg mirrors the characters' emotional states and the pressure they face. It contributes to the sense of suffocation and tension in the story. Razumikin's physical strength. Razumikin, Raskolnikov's loyal friend, is often associated with physical strength and vitality. His robust character serves as a symbol of life and vitality in contrast to Raskolnikov's inner struggles. The horse-drawn carriage. The horse-drawn carriage represents the dehumanizing effects of industrialization and urbanization. It's a symbol of the mechanical and unfeeling nature of the city. Water. Water is a recurring symbol in the novel. Often associated with purification and rebirth, characters seek solace or wash themselves in water, symbolizing their desire for cleansing and renewal. Porfiry's cat-and-mouse game. The interactions between Raskolnikov and Porfiry are symbolic of the intellectual and psychological struggle between the law and the criminal. The detective's pursuit of the truth becomes a battle of wits and morality. Central themes. The title succinctly reflects the two core themes of the novel. Crime represents the act committed by the protagonist, Raskolnikov, who murders the old pawnbroker and her sister. Punishment refers to the consequences he faces, both externally through the law and internally through his profound guilt and psychological suffering. Moral and psychological exploration. The novel is a deep exploration of the moral and psychological consequences of crime. It delves into the inner torment and turmoil experienced by Raskolnikov after committing the murder, the title highlights the moral aspect of the story. As characters grapple with questions of right and wrong, conflict and resolution, crime and punishment sets up a clear conflict between transgression and justice. And the title indicates that this conflict will be addressed in the narrative. The resolution of this conflict is central to the novel's progression. Universal relevance. The themes of crime and punishment are universal and have been explored in literature, philosophy, and ethics for centuries. The title immediately signals to readers that the novel will engage with fundamental human dilemmas that transcend cultural and temporal boundaries. Narrative focus. The title sets the narrative's primary focus on Raskolnikov's crime and its consequences. It serves as a literary hook, drawing readers into the story by highlighting the central moral quandary and its eventual resolution.